Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Ahead of the Curve, brought to you by Bybit. My name is Francesca. You can call me Fran. And here, we're going to be talking about your favorite topic, blockchain, crypto, DeFi, with some of your favorite guests, names, best friends, brightest minds, really, in the field. Joining me today is Lavinia Osbourne, a specialist consultant, thought leader, and friend within the space. She's also the founder of Women in Blockchain Talks, and you've probably seen or heard from Lavinia as one of LinkedIn's top voices in tech and innovation. Lavinia, welcome. It's such a great pleasure to have you on the show today. I would love for our audience to get to know you a little bit better. So why don't we start by having you share a little bit about what Women in Blockchain Talks does and kind of your role in shining a spotlight on women in the ecosystem. Lavinia.
Hello, good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you may be watching this from. For me in London, it's good morning. I'm really pleased to be here, so thank you for the invitation, Bybit. And yeah, this month, International Women's Month, it's great to be shining a spotlight on the many dynamic women in this space, which of course includes myself. So to answer your question, Fran, what is Women in Blockchain Talks all about? Well, first of all, Women in Blockchain Talks is the UK's leading diversity-driven blockchain education and networking ecosystem. So we are all about blockchain education, but we are focused on diversity and inclusion. We're founded just over 2 years ago in 2019, so just before the pandemic, and we have been growing ever since. Our mission is to amplify underrepresented voices within blockchain, so women, minorities, non-binaries, and give them the skills and the confidence and the contacts to learn about this space, leverage it for their betterment, and add their voice to this paradigm shift, because what's the point of just hearing one voice?
Before we go on really for the rest of the show, Lavinia, a big congratulations to you. Just a short 2 years and you've achieved so much, not just for yourself, but of course for the community. Awards aside, really impacting lives. I think that is something that is very much valued within the space, leveling the playing field for everyone. Blockchain in itself, the word a 21st century technology really with an age-old problem, adoption or the lack of it, or when it comes to the diversity of things, women adoption, the minority. In the women's scope itself, only I think 7% of the crypto investor pool are women. And that I think was according to a recent survey that one of my team members here, Claire, got a chance to share with me the other day from CNBC and Acorns, I believe. So my mission today really is to find out how we can make this technology and importantly the benefits and use cases of blockchain much more accessible to everyone, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to keep things a little bit casual here, okay? I've got my bottles of water and vitamin water to keep us hydrated. Lavinia, I hope you have something on hand for yourself as well. And we want to hear from you guys, the audience. Any of the thoughts, questions, feelings, or comments, do bring them in, write them in. I will probably not be answering many of them, but we will get Lavinia to answer them for you. So let's just get things started. Lavinia, earlier I referred to an interesting statistic pointing really to the reality of gender adoption disparity within the space that we both love so very much. Why is there disparity in the gender makeup of women in crypto?
Okay, so this is based on being in the space for the time that I have been, and also the feedback that I have got from my community. Because one of the things that I think is important to say, I am a leading voice. I do speak for minorities, but I can't speak for everyone. Everyone has different experiences, and there's many women who are, leading the path, and they've never had any issues around gender or discrimination around gender, and they just don't see it, that there is an issue. But the numbers, as Fran just touched upon, the numbers speak for themselves. And the reason I believe that there is this disparity is because, first of all, we still belong to a patriarchal system. And that system depicts that there are certain roles that women will play in the world. And this was emphasized by the pandemic. Many working women had to reduce their hours so they could homeschool their children because many children couldn't go to school, or they found that they were taking on more responsibility at home with childcare, housework, and their work. So this was proven and it has been recognized and recorded by the UN. So if this is something anyone wants to question or look into, then there is information out there. So with that being said, we live in a patriarchal system, and that patriarchal system, it has positioned the genders that men are going to be more aligned, or that learning new paradigms within finance particularly and tech is going to be easier for the male gender than it is for the female gender. And the female gender will do work around creativity. Most of the roles that I have seen women do within this space, and there's been a huge uproar a number of times when there are conferences, you know, marketing dollies, where women are dressed up in a very sort of attractive sexual manner, you know, short skirts, low cleavage, to entice people to stands. And I was at a conference just last year and I saw this, and it's quite disappointing. And also you will see a number of women, or the roles that women take up majority within this space, on marketing, PR, business development, and there is nothing wrong with that. But the point is, not everyone who is coming into this space are coming into this space to work. And it is important, again, that our voices are heard and that women are also leading on certain areas, that we're not just chasing from behind. What do I mean by that? Well, one of the things the pandemic touched upon or impacted was women and individuals looking at pivoting their career into a new space, transferring their skill sets to a new space. And one of the areas that I think women should definitely be looking at and looking into, because it offers job security, is developing. The way I see it is, if you are still breathing and living, you have your compass mentis, then why not, right? Why not pivot into a new field? I'm not saying that it's easy, but I'm saying that it's very possible. And there are more and more women coming into this space who are looking at the technical roles. And I think that's an amazing thing. And I'm happy to see it.
That's a very interesting point that you've raised, Lavinia. I think that, even within the STEM industry in itself, women in the technical aspects of the job, engineering, uh, development, IT, they come far and few in between. And so, what do you think is needed, whether in the space that we're in right now, within blockchain and crypto, or within the wider fintech or tech industry, is required for women, to uh, take the first step? What will make it easier for people like you and I, for us to basically take that big leap? Will it be taking up new courses? Will it be talking to people? Will it be reading up on various materials?
Sure. Well, there's a number of things here. First of all, I am not technical. I found my passion, my mission, and that is leading women in blockchain talks. It is, my superpower is connecting, networking, educating, and empowering others to walk through a door that maybe they didn't think was possible or was overwhelming for them, and they just needed someone to believe in them. That is what I believe are my superpowers. If they weren't my superpowers, I definitely would be taking my own advice and looking into a career in blockchain development, because I just find the whole space very exciting, and it's a career for today, but it's most definitely a future career. You know, you look at the LinkedIn does a report every year just talking about the careers of the future, and blockchain is up there, you know, with it for the last 2 years, is up there on that list. So I would take my own advice. So in regards to that, and answering your question, Fran, I'm not technical. So what do I think is going to help bring individuals, particularly women, more women into the space? Well, we live in a time where time is at a bare minimum. You know, we have the, I think it's 120 characters for Twitter. We now have 7-minute TikTok videos. You know, we're just reducing our capacity to take in information and execute on it. It seems to be coming lower and lower. But I do believe if you have the right information and the right marketing approach, then you can retain people's attention. What do I mean by this? Well, let me give an example, because it's always good to give real life examples. So Women in Blockchain Talks, you know, one of the things that makes us different is that we are open to all genders. I'm not about exclusivity. You know, I'm a woman of color. I know what it's like not to feel like to belong, or to be the only person who looks like me in the room. So I'm not about exclusion. Inclusion is what I'm about. However, as I touched upon, the numbers speak for themselves. And so my passion and my focus is to bring more women into the space. So one of the ways that we're doing that is that we have created, Women in Blockchain Talks has created a campaign, 50,000 women into blockchain by 2023. And that started from last year, and we're building momentum with it. However, just because you're saying that's the campaign, and what we did, we created a quiz so that if it's the first touch point for an individual, particularly a woman who's heard about blockchain but knows nothing about blockchain, it's a touch point that's fun, that's not overwhelming, that's not daunting. Because you've got to remember, when people are coming into a new space and learning a new technology, if it's too overwhelming and daunting, it's just going to put them off, and it's going to be like a negative experience, which will make it harder for them to come into the space. So my sort of way, my method is to always try and make it fun. Let's gamify it and make it fun, right? Because there's no reason at all to make it overly technical, complicated, and boring. You know, like, it doesn't have to be that way. So we have this quiz, and the quiz then has different avatars that will say, are you a newbie Naomi? Are you a diversity Deborah? Are you a career pivoting Charlie, right? And we've used names that can apply to both genders, male, female, or non-binary even. And so that's one way. But even though we've got that way, you still have to think about different ways to engage the community once those people come into your community. So one of the things we did for International Women's Day is that we created an NFT minting party called Girls Just Want to Have Fun. It was open to all genders, of course, but I was just playing on the song. If you're old enough, you may know this song and the artist Cyndi Lauper. Girls just want to have fun.
Oh yeah.
Oh, girls just want to have fun, girls. Anyway, so we created the first ever NFT minting party. It's one of the things that Women in Blockchain Talks have done. We've created an NFT project for our community rather than an NFT project and then created a community behind it, because the objective is to get people's feet wet, right? We hear about NFTs, we hear people talking about it, we may understand what an NFT is, but you don't truly know until you actually go through the process of creating your wallet, adding the currency, in this case, Matic, Polygon, to your wallet, and then go into OpenSea or go into our app. And I'm happy to share the link, during the course of this talk, where you can have a look at that, look at our web butterflies, and then you mint it, right? And so we put together an event, like I said, the world's first ever NFT minting party. We had over 100 registrants, and we all came together as a collective and we went through the process. It is these things that are going to help people have fun, demystify not only what an NFT is, but the process of minting. And the feedback that we got was that was, a huge learning curve, but it wasn't as hard or as bad as I thought it was going to be, because I was part of a collective, because I could ask the questions right there in that call, right? And also, if they were scared to ask a question, they were able to hear other people asking questions that was relative to the minting party, to the minting process. And then it was like, I bought my NFT. Wow. I'm part of the Web 3.0 space now. And that to me is success. Not selling an NFT that's worth 1,000 or 2,000, which is great, but just seeing people actually doing the do, right, is a success. Because what will they do? They'll go back to their community and they'll say, this is what I did. This is what the process was. I don't know everything, but I can show you, or I can help you, or I can point you in the direction where you can get that information. And it helps them to adopt, which was the word that you used before, Fran. And this is where mass adoption comes in. It's all about traction. And as that traction builds, that's where the mass adoption comes, because it shouldn't be just about the companies. It shouldn't be just about the tech orientated people who come into this space. Like I said, this is a huge paradigm shift, and it needs to be everyone coming into the space, not just a few.
Lavinia, I think that is so fascinating. The NFT minting party, how does it work? Do people come together in a room and kind of just like, pop the do a little countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time, like it's time to mint, and then everybody just kind of clicks on it. How...
So we did a Zoom, and so it was online, which makes it international. This is why I love doing talks like this. You're in Singapore, I'm in the UK. We're part of a global ecosystem, a very global international ecosystem. And Women in Blockchain Talks is all about the global, all about diversity and inclusion, not just of gender and ethnicity, even race, even though I believe there's only one race, human race. And we're all about the languages and nationalities and what that means and what that brings to Web 3.0. I mean, when I talk about this, I just get so excited. So so it's on Zoom, because of course many people can then participate from around the world. And then what we need to ascertain is who has that. So what we did was we sent emails out beforehand to prepare. This is the wallet you need to get, your MetaMask, you need to buy Matic. These are the different ways that you can buy Matic. Now, what happened was when people came on the call, some of them had issues in buying Matic or in setting up their MetaMask wallet, which is, all normal. And that's what we are here to do, to support, to guide, but to make it fun, not to make it daunting and overwhelming, even though, yes, it is daunting and it is overwhelming, but decreasing that. And in doing that, demystifying once again the process. So once we did that, we then, we talked to a few people. We had, as I was going through a presentation, I had my technical co-partner on the butterfly, on the NFT butterfly project, with me. And so then he was going through the technical elements and helping certain people while I was going through a presentation. And then it got to a point where it was like, okay, who's ready to mint? And it was like, yes, we're ready to mint. So we had a number of people mint during the course of the minting party. And then some people weren't able to, because for whatever reason, the Polygon protocol was very, very busy. So they'd sent the Matic, but it hadn't hit their wallet. So they had to wait until the next day. But then, you know, every Wednesday we have a Butterfly Wednesday where people can share their NFT, their Butterfly NFT, which is part of the Women in Blockchain Talks ecosystem. And then after that, they shared their butterfly, and it was beautiful and it was amazing. And we're planning on doing it again. And I really, you know, I'm hoping, the way I see it, you know, blockchain is about decentralization. This is my idea. This is something that I'm putting forward, you know, but I don't own it. So if anyone wants to do it, then they can do it. But it's not, how can I put it? I think it's really for communities who have created their NFT to help onboard individuals, rather than an NFT project that's selling their NFTs. They're two very different things. NFT project, community that's creating an NFT to help onboard their members into the space. You see the difference? Yeah.
I'm hearing two things loud and clear: inclusiveness and fun. Such a fun activity, such a fun party. You are definitely, clearly a very fun person. And so speaking of fun, I do want to bring in a fun little component that we have during this program today. We do have a bunch of swag boxes to give away. 100 International Women's Day swag boxes filled with branded sportswear. I think I saw some boxing gloves in there, several other cool knickknacks. But yes, do stay tuned till the end of the program. In order to get this, the first 100 people to complete the post-event survey with, you know, various information and answering several questions shown at the end of the session will receive these swag boxes. So stay with us. And in case you've just joined us, viewers out there, welcome to the talk of the hour, Women in Crypto. We are talking about next level empowerment, equality, inclusion, and just lots and lots of fun with our trailblazer in the space, Lavinia Osbourne, of course. She is the founder of Women in Blockchain Talks. Lavinia, we do have a couple of questions coming in from the audience. I do want to read them out to you. First one, talk us through a little bit maybe about Crypto Queens. I for one would like to learn a little bit more about that, and I'm sure our viewers would as well.
Sure. So my experience with, well, first of all, I love NFTs. Interestingly enough, my first experience with NFTs was I was gifted back in December 2017, the year that I bought my Ethereum, a crypto kitty NFT. At the time, I had known it was on a piece of paper. It had the long address link that I was supposed to type in. I had no clue what it was, what I was supposed to do with it. And I didn't have a wallet at that time. And I folded up that piece of paper with the code on and I put it somewhere in my house, and I still cannot find it. And it's like, I'm very sure that CryptoKitty is worth something now. You know? So that is my first experience with NFTs. So I knew about NFTs from 2017 because of that gift. So I knew what an NFT was, but at that time it was just CryptoKitties collectibles, right? It wasn't as extensive or as impactful as it is now. And then last year, I decided to host, how to create your own NFT workshop with Rarible. Rarible is one of the top NFT marketplace platforms in the space, and some other thought leaders in that area, including a lawyer, because I think it's always important not to just focus on the hype and the creativity. You also need to understand the legalities behind what you're doing, and also the tax implications. These are assets, right? But I did that because I was hearing about NFTs and what it was. But again, it was like, well, how do you create an NFT? And it just seemed so convoluted, so overwhelming and daunting for me. And I'm in this space, and it's like, well, Lavinia, if you're going to lead on this, you need to understand it, right? So I put that event together, very successful event. And then after that, it seems as if my growth, my journey in the space just started to grow, because then I got involved with a hackathon. And let me tell you, hackathons are a great way, even as a newbie, even as a non-technical person, to learn more about an area of blockchain, metaverse, Web 3.0. It's a great way to learn. It's a great way to connect with people who are more technical minded, who are more advanced than yourself, right? For me, there is no excuse as to why you cannot come into this space. What you don't know, you don't know, but ask the questions, right? And, you know, give yourself a chance. Be bold, be brave. This is something that I like to say. Be bold, be brave in blockchain, and just dive in. Fun. And I'm digressing on the answer a little bit, but the other night I was speaking at an event in London, one of my first in real life person's event, like third party events, and it was amazing. And there was a lady from the audience who asked the question saying, what if this space is too daunting, it's too scary, you know, what do I do? And the guy who was on the panel, he was the only guy on the panel, there was 4 of us, and he was the only guy. And he said, well, I'm really bullish about this space, and I'm more than busy. And if you are not ready, if you're too scared, then that's fine. Come when you're ready. My response was, I'm bullish about bringing more women, diversity, gender, inclusivity into this space. I am bullish about that, because this is an opportunity for us to lead from the front rather than chase from behind, which is the case, you know, which has been the case for the last how many years, since the industrial revolution, so to speak. So I'm bullish about feel the fear and do it anyway. So hackathons are a great way to learn, right? And there's some great hackathons out there. So I went down that rabbit hole, and then that's when I really dived into the whole NFT space. And I created my own NFT. I'm not a creative person like that. And so I created my first NFT. And then I didn't sell any, and it's absolutely fine that I didn't sell any, because it wasn't about that for me. And I know I'm going to sell in the future, in the very near future, because grows, when blockchain talks, my personal brand grows, those will gain value, right? Because that's just how it works, right? Or that's an element of how it works. So to the reason I feel that NFTs have become so popular is because it is very creative, and a lot of people can come into this space, and it's like an incentive. Crypto, I'm not too sure about that. I could lose money, etc., etc. But I'm a painter, I'm an artist, I'm a creative person. So NFTs, let me give it a go. There's more incentive. And so I believe, and that's one of the reasons why I created the NFT minting party. I think it's a great pathway to introduce more people, particularly women, into the space. The other thing that I love about NFTs as well is that with the smart contract, a person, an individual can stipulate that on the secondary market, I can receive 10% of any sales. And I think that's very powerful, because again, going back to what I was doing previously, and it's still something that I'm passionate about, wealth creation, financial equality, you know, this is a great way to create passive income, to create wealth, and also pass that wealth down generationally, as long as you pass, you know, the details of that contract to the next generation, because you can leave it in your will to the next generation, so that they can then continue to receive from your initial efforts. To me, that is powerful. So with all that being said, Crypto Queens came about because, again, I'm seeing it is very bro orientated. Again, the data speaks for itself. Only 5% of sales made last year were by women. And that's not to say women are not leading in this space, because we've got some terrific and amazing NFT women-led projects, such as boss beauties such as Women of the World, Women Rise, etc., etc. There are some amazing projects out there, and there's also amazing women artists who just sell one-on-one. They're not about the 10x or the Gen X projects. They're not about that. Okay. I think of someone like Imogen Heap. Imogen Heap is a Grammy Award winner, and she's been in this space for a very long time. And her NFTs have been around music rather than art and visual. And of course, again, with NFTs, they can be gifts, they can be images, they can be music, they can be for gaming, and the spectrum is wide. So again, what is our reason for not coming into this space? What is our reason for not embracing this new technology, this paradigm shift of how we engage and interact, and most importantly, transact? So Crypto Queens was created because I saw, again, that it is a very bro orientated culture. And, I'm all about, I want to be a blockchain billionaire, right? That's my personal ambition, but not at the detriment or by walking on others or selling something that doesn't have value. My legacy that I hope to create is of impact, is of kindness, of education, of fun, diversity, inclusion, right? That's the legacy I want to create. And by creating that, I will become a blockchain billionaire, right? So, but Crypto Queens is about creating a marketplace that is women orientated, women led, women focused, but again, not about exclusion. And so there's elements about Crypto Queens that I'm really proud of, that we will have. And so right now we're raising funds for this because, you need, there's a difference between a community orientated project such as Women in Blockchain Talks, educational networking, events, and an actual technical project, because a marketplace is tech, right? And I'm not technical. And so I'm raising money for that at the moment. And the key elements about Crypto Queens is that we have an 80-20 rule. So 80% of our artists will be women and 20% will be men and non-binaries. Then the other element is that we will be very much focused on marketing support. How do we support our artists? Because artists sometimes don't know how to market themselves, right? So we want to be able to get them started and give them pathways, have partnerships with marketing companies. And sometimes that's pricey for an artist, but sometimes an artist can afford that. So give them like marketing one-to-one, but also the ability to say, hey, this is an agency that you can also use to help market your NFTs. Community support. It is not easy building a community that has integrity, right? And so we want to help people do that. Again, community building 101. We also want to give technical support. Most people come into this space don't know what a smart contract is, much less how to create one, how to build one. So we want to be able to help people say, okay, this is what a smart contract is. If you're doing a Gen X project, this is what you need, and these are the people who can help you, right? And then the other elements of it that I'm excited about is that it will be a creation model. So what that means is that OpenSea is open to everyone, no knowledge or known origin, that you have to go through a process of applying, right? And then we'll say, yes, we'll take this artist and we'll take that artist, and it's curated. And that way we'll be able to try and maintain that 80-20 rule. I have not seen anyone do anything like this so far. What I see in this space is a lot of people creating the projects, which is amazing and is awesome, and I'm here for it. But what I'm about is creating the platform that is going to empower more women coming into that space, and not only empower them, but support them in being one of those leaders so that we can increase that 5%.
I have a very, very relevant question here coming in from the audience, and I do hope I'm pronouncing your name right. From Mixilla, Brilliant Indian Putra. She said, hello, Lavinia. I really love your energy in the session. So much passion for the crypto space, indeed. My question will be from Maxilla, is when it comes to seeking for new knowledge for women, where is a good starting point for someone new to the space? Whether it be learning about blockchain first, or NFT first, or even technical analysis first?
So again, it's very important for me to reiterate, I'm not a technical person. So if you're asking about technical analysis, I don't trade. So you was asking the question about crypto and my experience. I hold, and like I said, I do dollar cost averaging or pound cost averaging, since I use pounds. And the reason for that is simply because I don't have the capacity. I find it very fast moving. I stake, I'm into all of that. And we touch on all of that during our crypto workshop. So to answer your question, Women in Blockchain Talks is where you start. We have the minting parties for those who are about NFTs. We have a job board, and we have a community of people who are seeking jobs or looking for people. So we have that element. We have the crypto workshop for those who are brand new and want to learn about crypto. We have people who want to, are entrepreneurial and want to start a project or want to learn about becoming a dev. You name it, we generally have it. And if I don't have it, then my network is broad, and I can help connect you to the people that you want to that you need to be connected with. We have, again, international, because diversity and inclusion is important to me. We are launching, or we have launched, our global community chapters, leadership chapters. So we had our first global chapter, Women in Blockchain Talks event in Dubai, with our Middle East ambassador, Randa Araifi, who's based out in Dubai. So again, we have the online programs, of course, but we also know that people want to connect face to face, now that the world is opening up again. And so we're trying to create that by having different chapters around the world. It's very slow at the moment because we want to do it right. You can't rush into these things. Rome wasn't built in a day. But yeah, Women in Blockchain Talks is definitely the place to start. Join the community, go to the website, and it will give you pointers of where to start, because a lot of people ask me, how do I get started? Where do I go in Women in Blockchain Talks? There's so much information. So on the homepage, we've just kind of put, this is how you get started. This is where you go. We have, again, we've created resources like an ebook. What has blockchain got to do with me? And it's just touching on what blockchain is, why you should get involved, what it has got to do with you. And we actually translated that into Mandarin, into Castellano, which is Spanish, and Arabic. Those are the three first languages, and we plan to translate more. And we also have, what has NFTs got to do with me? Because again, these are questions that people ask. Well, it sounds all interesting, but what has it got to do with me? Why should I get involved? Going back to what I was saying before about our time is precious. And so when you think about it, you do have to ask the question, what does it have to do with me? Why should I get involved? And these two ebooks have been created to help people just get started.
Nice. Very nice, Lavinia. And I do, there's a quick question here from Renaz asking which chain you're building your marketplace. Correct me if I'm wrong, that would be partying on the Ethereum and Polygon chains. Is that right?
So the NFT, so there are two things here I really have to make clear. Women in Blockchain Talks and its own entity. And within Women in Blockchain Talks, we have a community project to mint our NFT butterflies, okay? And that is on Polygon Matic. Then you have Crypto Kweens, which is my other business, and that is a female-led or women-led NFT marketplace, okay, which we are raising funds for, and we are we are looking to build. It will be built, right? And that will be built. I'm looking at the Rarible protocol. So of course that is Ethereum, but with Ethereum, that is of course level 1. And with Rarible, using their protocol, you now can bring in Matic and Tezos. So that's what we're looking at the present moment, but that could change.
Right. I'm being very, very conscious of time right now. Time really flies when you're really engaged and having fun. With just a final 10 minutes left on the clock, I'm trying to get through some of the other questions that we have from the audience. One's asking, are you seeing your efforts pay off? And are you seeing more women being excited and participating in the space? And what is your prediction, Lavinia, for women participation in crypto or NFTs going forward?
Oh, so what I will say is that, yes, my efforts are paying off, but there is still so much work to be done. I'm a grassroots business. I have a passion. The mission is huge. My passion is huge. And I'm fearless. I take my own advice. I'm bold, I'm brave in blockchain and in business. And, when you have the passion that I do and the mission I do, nothing will stop you. Blockchain is here to stay. I am here to stay. And like I said, there's a lot of work to be done. So, if you like what I'm saying, get involved, join the community, tell other people about it. I hear a lot of people say to me, Lavinia, we think you're amazing. You're so inspiring. I love your energy. That's great. But that energy isn't there just to entertain you. That energy is there to entice you and inspire you to take action, join our community, be part of the conversation, step up, tell your community, tell your network, right? And that is how we make a difference. I can lead, right? And I'm not about, I'm the leader, you guys are the followers. No, I'm not about that. But someone needs to lead from the front. I'm leading from the front. And via my global chapter, leadership program, it's about creating other leaders, right? I'm all about creating other leaders. I class myself as a servant leader, right? So, but it's people need to take action. Don't just watch me, join me and be part of what I'm doing. Come to the events. If you come to the events, and some of our events are free, some of them are not. Like the minting party was absolutely free. We have an event coming up in May 11th. It's continuing the International Women's Day conversation about breaking the bias. And that's on May the 11th. It's going to be online. It's going to be in person in London. So, buy a ticket, support what we're doing. You can also just donate to the campaign if you so choose. If you and join the community. We also have a conference. Well, actually it's going to be a festival, right? A festival, Women in Blockchain Talks Festival, where we're going to have women leading from the front on stage, talking about what's happening in blockchain. And then we're going to have non-binaries, and then we're going to have, so it's a 3-day festival. And then on the 3rd day, it will be women, men, non-binaries. But we really want to have the female or the women voices amplified from the stage. And we're going to be doing that in Cyprus. So we are not just, again, we're not just talking about events and networking. We are doing the do, and we're making it fun. And we have different levels for people to get involved. We have a membership. Become a member of Women in Blockchain Talks, and that will support what we're doing. So when you ask the question, is it working? That's up to you. I'm doing what needs to be done, right? So it's up to others who hear this message, who hear what we're talking about. Again, I am all about blockchain, but I'm all about diversity. We need diversity and inclusion in this space because it's another world that is being created here, right? And that world needs to be reflective of the real world, right? So I'm doing the best that I can as a single individual, trailblazer, powerhouse, whatever you want to name me, human being. I'm doing my best, but I do need support. The mission needs support. So it's up to you. You tell me if it's a success. Am I doing a good enough job to get you involved? Let me know.
Lavinia, drop us a link. What's the URL people need to show their support? For folks on Twitter, you can follow Lavinia on Twitter as well. That would be at Lavinia Osbourne, first name, last name. And I think at Crypto Queens is also one of them. Crypto_Queens, that would be KWEENSMP.
Yeah.
Hopefully two final questions before we need to wrap up. One's from Cebu saying, Lavinia, thanks for the session for women in crypto. I have a question of what you think is the future you're seeing with women in crypto.
Well, women are part of society. We're going to be part of the future, like it or not. You know, we're 50% of the population. So I do see more increase because we're moving from Web 1.0 to Web 3.0. What does that mean? Web 1.0 was reading information on the internet. You know, I don't know how many of you remember dial-up, right? You had to use AOL, dial-up, and then you would be able to access information. And that information was coming more from the big media companies, so to speak. And when I say media companies, I'm talking like Bloomberg, AOL at that time, BBC. And then we got into Web 2.0, which is the creator economy. And that was about us as individuals creating blogs and creating vlogs using YouTube, WordPress. You know, we were then able to share our content from our perspective, and people were able to access that. Now we're moving into Web 3.0, and it is an evolution of the creator economy, but it's also created the ownership economy. And the ownership economy is all about utilizing these NFTs, these digital assets, to move assets around Web 3.0, the metaverse. So that's like basically having an image that you own in your wallet that you purchase from Decentraland, and then going to Sandbox and creating a house and putting that digital asset in your house on Sandbox. Because ultimately, the assets that you purchase from these different Web 3.0 websites, they're in your wallet, you own it. Web 2.0, for example, gaming, you go onto their website, you purchase assets. If that gaming world was to expire, was to delete, was to disappear, all of your assets go with that platform as well. So we are in a space, yes, there's a lot of learning curves. There's bright minds who are looking at how it's affecting our environment, you know, and things will get, and it's very convoluted sometimes to get into this space. And go through the process, as I touched upon before, with the NFT minting parties. But ultimately, this space is here. It's going to grow. We need to be a part of it. And in doing that, there are opportunities, especially for us women, to own, to retain, and to protect, and most importantly, to pass on that asset, create generational wealth. And that to me is powerful, because this is an opportunity we have not really had before. So we must embrace it, and we will embrace it. And so that is what I see as the future of Web 3.0 and women in Web 3.0. Thank you.
That's powerful indeed. And I'm afraid we are coming towards the end of this show. A big shout out to all of you guys, viewers who stayed with us for the past hour. Definitely deserving of a prize, and a prize you will receive. Remember to fill out a short survey coming your way in just a few minutes. The first few people to make a submission will get our special International Women's Day swag bag, brought to you by Bybit and all the men and women who made it possible. Final question for you, Lavinia. Is there one word that will define women in crypto? If there is one, what would it be?
I don't know if I can use one word, but it's definitely about financial equality, I think, is what I would say. Financial equality. I can't use one word. Just equality, full stop. That's what I see with blockchain. It's about equality, creating more of it. We still have an imbalance. I think we're always going to have an imbalance, because people who have had money are coming into this space, and so they can take up more, they can own more, they can do more. You know, that's what wealth That's what the opportunities that wealth give you. But I think there's an opportunity to create more equality, and I think that's powerful.
Powerful indeed. And on this very inspiring note, Lavinia, thank you so much again for your time this past hour. I'm afraid this is all we have time for today. This is Ahead of the Curve. Join us again next month for more exciting discussions about one of our other favorite topics, NFTs, how they're really permeating through the art, music, gaming, and the majority of mass media culture really today. Once again, my name is Francesca. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Lavinia, for being just the absolute best this past hour. We can't wait to have you again on the show. So we'll be in touch. And to everyone else, we'll see you next month. Okay, be kind to one another and take care.